So many people are like, I don't care about the viability of the fetus. It's a baby. I hate throwing around hypotheticals as much as the next, but okay, we're at the top of a very tall building. In one hand, I have a screaming, crying child. In the other hand, I have a petri dish with 4 fertilized eggs. I am going to drop one of them, but you get to choose which one of them I'm going to drop. You're telling me that it's actually going to be an impossible decision for you.
These issues that really should be more important than Roe v. Wade because it got decided 50 years ago. This is an old issue that shouldn't even be discussed right now. We should be talking about moving the United States into the future. But here we are.
Because if you don't care about viability of the fetus, you only care about potentiating human life, this should be an impossible scenario for you.
How in the is it that we're even discussing abortion right now in 2022 when Roe v. Wade was decided January 22nd, 1973? That's quite some time ago for this to be resurfacing as if it's just been something the general public has been fighting for so long. Like, oh no, we have to take women's rights away from them. No, this has been a minority fight. A minority of the country has wanted this.
In fact, it should technically be even worse for me to drop the petri dishes with 4 fertilized eggs in them than it would for me to drop the one baby, because I would be killing more things then, theoretically, right?
I mean, our education system is still preparing us for a world that has office desk jobs. Our education system has not modified itself for automation. It hasn't modified itself for the fact that we live in a gig economy where people are getting contractual opportunities and aren't staying in companies for 20 or 30 years like they used to. I mean, people are graduating with these degrees that are pretty much useless if they're not in some type of traditional field and they can't do anything with it. And then they end up in all these other fields through just experience. And now they got all this student loan debt, which of course the Biden administration is still doing absolutely nothing about. And we're sitting here arguing about abortion.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because y'all don't care what happens to the baby once it's born anyway.
Our healthcare system puts people into bankruptcy. And so much of the rest of the developed world has a healthcare system that doesn't let that happen to people. And we're arguing about abortion. We're arguing about a 50-state wipeout. I mean, what kind of BS is this? How is it that we're seriously having this discussion? And yet, this issue is so important that we have to act on it now. We have to codify Roe v. Wade. We can't turn our backs on this, which again takes so many other important issues off the table because all of our political capital has to go into protecting this. Because as we talk about all the time, they're not just going to stop with Roe v. Wade, but America's number one. But we're having this 50-year-old fight all of a sudden. Well, not all of a sudden, but now all of a sudden, all of our capital has to go into this and everything else has to get put onto the back burner, basically.
Otherwise, you'd be fighting for better adoption, foster, and childcare systems, more PTO for parents, as well as free healthcare for all the pregnant people. But you actively oppose all that.
And then it's like, how many of these people who are just adamantly standing on abortion is murder, no matter when it happens, it's murder, right? Even when it's just a big ball of cells, it's still murder then. But they're for capital punishment. They're not for getting rid of the death penalty. They want to do nothing about our arcane drug sentencing laws. These things that directly impact everyday people and families. Laws that break up people's families because they live in economic situations where they don't have the leisure of getting this job or getting that job or going to this university because they don't have any money. These issues that really should be more important than Roe v. Wade because it got decided 50 years ago. This is an old issue that shouldn't even be discussed right now. We should be talking about moving the United States into the future. But here we are, arguing about Roe v. Wade. It's absolutely ridiculous. It truly is.